terms of understanding it. But I think one of the things that Zoe was saying was that entry, I probably didn't make that very clear, but that you've got one entry to go to the Northern Beaches Tunnel, Berry Street and Artarmon. That's it. So in terms of benefits, we have to backtrack, run all the way to one of those to get on, to pop out at the beach, to then struggle through traffic all the way to the beach. So your 15 minutes is evaporated. And vice versa. The Northern Beaches people have to run and go all the way to this port. Well, there's two, so I won't over-exaggerate, but two ports. They have to go to the North Back Island Seaport to get on, to then come off, and come off where? If they're trying to go into the city, are all these cars going to park? They're not. They're going to come off in North Sydney and around our suburbs, find it's all timed parking, work their way into our suburbs, park in front of our homes, and have to walk to a transport link, and you probably lost more than 15 minutes by the time you've done all that. So really, where are the time savings?
The other thing to tell the people from the Northern Beaches is the previous Cumberland County plan that this is based on. The motorway doesn't stop where this tunnel is supposed to stop. It continues straight along the river valley to the Northern Beaches. So, yeah, okay, it's not going to directly go, immediately go to the Northern Beaches, but it's just another missing link. So if it's built, it's only a matter of time before you lose your parkland and you get a motorway that will now run from Blacktown through to the Northern Beaches.
You'll note that with the F6, it's not going through the national park anymore.
And,
but it'll get there,
anyone
won't
who
it?
does know people on the Northern Beaches, the RMS have put forward a clearway proposition, so that there would be a clearway all along Pittwater Road from Manly Vale through to Motor Vale. So that is a motorway, essentially. Yeah.
I find it strange because I've got quite a few friends on the Northern Beaches and they don't want this. They don't want plebs visiting them.
Absolutely. I mean, the question simply hasn't
They've
been
already got
asked.
development pressure. It'll only increase when it's easier to get to.
Yeah, and any argument that says that development will not be as great with a road that's crazy.
Diluted.
Exactly. You can build developments all along a road network, whereas if you, as we've seen in Crow's Nest, if you have a metro, then you certainly do get building around that metro, but that's it. Okay. Yes.
Could somebody explain why two tunnels come out in front of the school? Like, why doesn't the tunnel stay underground and you have just entrance and exit roads? Like, the only reason you have that is the ventilation, isn't it? And the whole thing could remain underground, but they bring them out only because of the ventilation system they've chosen. Is that right?
Yes, the longer the tunnel, the worse the ventilation. So they've got to try and bring them up as soon as possible in order to get the ventilation. But also, the more entrances and exits, the Western Harbour Tunnel is the only thing that makes the third stage of the WestConnex financially viable. So the hope, and I really doubt their modelling, I really doubt it. Their hope is that the traffic from the north heading to the expanded Parramatta and the airport, because the North Shore is the biggest catchment for customers for the airport.
Yeah.
Their hope is that will drive the tolling for the stage 3, so that stops it from being another white elephant.
So, but if they put in better filtration systems and active constant, you could keep the whole thing underground all the way.
Potentially.
Even the lengths as they are, this is what everyone in Northbridge is panicking about this. We've spoken to independent engineers who think the lengths are too long as they are, because you've got gradients and all sorts of things that slow down airflow. That there could be a potential, at least an emergency release stack in Northbridge. And that's come from but that's come from independent engineers, not the RMS has not confirmed that, just to be clear.
Can I just add to that? So the North Connex, which is 9 kilometres long, has an emergency stack, and that was requested by, I believe, the Department of Health, because as it is, the North Connex tunnel will be 50 times the minimum level of pollutants allowed by government anyway. So they've got an emergency stack that will likely be used most of the time. So if they once we get the EIS and then the Department of Health responds to that EIS, then it's likely that there will be an emergency stack somewhere halfway along the way, which would be in Northbridge. So Terry Friends in Northbridge.
Where would that come out?
Sorry?
What about the West Mara Tunnel? If there was an emergency stack, where would that go?
We'd have to go halfway along.
Ball's Head or probably two.
Big
Yeah.
Waverton.
Yeah. Any other
But,
questions?
but you can't wait for the, even though the
No.
EIS has all of the detail, we really have to aim that it's never released. Because
Is
it's,
that what's like, once that's released, that's it?
you're on the
30
road
days.
to
Yeah.
There's
approval.
risk
Yeah.
mitigation from that point.
It's a
wholesale change.
Yeah, it's a it's named as a state significant infrastructure project, and basically that means that they can ride roughshod over health, environment, Aboriginal heritage, natural
Any
heritage,
control
whatever.
that applies to any other form of development doesn't apply to the
No.
state infrastructure project.
The previous projects, for the M5 or the new M5, the interchange down at St. Peter's, they said, well, the Department of Planning told the people that look, the EIS will be scheduled on this date and the planning approval will be the next day. And that, all 30 days later. And said, well, how do you know when the planning approval is going to be? And they said, well, we just got a timetable. 20,000 submissions, and the planning still approved it on the same day.
30th day.
It is not the EIS is a rubber stamp exercise. You must kill it in a political sense before then.
And that's why I think your point that we're still open to changing it is that they've said the EIS isn't coming out till after the election.
Yeah.
Because
Like-
once it's out, it's a done deal.
That statement alone
Yeah.
made me sit up with hope, because that probably means that they may not want to be seen backflipping,
But they're on the way to it.
but they've got a good chance of it.
Could Gladys sign a contract before the election?
That's what she said her intention was.
Yes.
Gladys
She
can
did.
do it.
And they've got a history of doing it.
Yeah, well,
But-
it's,
They've signed the contract
Yes.
for stage 3A of
West
West
Connex.
Connex without knowing the design. So it's it's not
things in the
impossible.
local community now, actually, around Ern Street, they're putting in lights
Yes, that's right.
around the.
Yep, and they've started doing mitigation on
All over the place.
Yeah.
Like, this is actually
That's to
happening.
make you feel powerless.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say that's a
That's
strategy,
to make
so
you
don't
feel
let it
absolutely
distract you.
powerless. And it's just.
And that it's a
just-
fait accompli and
yeah,
it's not.
And it's not.
That is entirely a strategy.
Yeah.
They tried that down south, including saying that, oh, we're going to do things at this exit here. They started to do it, and then the exit disappeared. So do not fall for the it's a done deal thing. It's not a done deal until it's operating. Because one of the things about the city's heavy rail, part of the reason it doesn't run too well is because they were building it, some works to improve it, and they stopped halfway through because they just ran out of money. So nothing's a done deal until it's
Operational.
Sorry, did we get an answer to the fact that under the infrastructure priorities, that the government can still sign a contract?
Yeah,
She can
Under
she
it,
can
like
sign any
tomorrow?
contract
She can just
tomorrow.
sign it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. She can sign a contract to give us all ponies. That doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Except that the contract, signing the contract has huge implications if then the Labor government get in and they don't want to go ahead.
So it depends on the contractor, because sometimes the contractor doesn't want to argue.
Okay, I'm going to wind it up. Thank you so much for coming. Take a picture of that. And don't forget, there's a consultation by the RMS on Saturday between 12 and 4 at Camaray Golf Club. Please turn up. Please get other people to turn up. Ask questions. Make sure you put your name down on the iPad that you were there. Make sure you do all of those things. It's really important.
But go to the overdevelopment rally first.
Oh, yes.
Go there and then go there.
That'll have a more
What time is
impact.
that?
11 a.m. at Hume Park and Crow's Nest.
Oh, yeah.
need to bring